Today, Corey Craft, my cherry tree. We're turning this cherry tree into this cherry tree bonsai. For a few years now, I've had this tree, and that was a weird way to say that. What am I, Yoda? I've had this tree now for a few years, and I've always thought it looked a little goofy. Today we're gonna take care of that. I've looked at it a little bit and had some ideas, but I think we need to take care of this tree before it gets any worse than what it currently is. First thing I need to do is establish what's gonna be the front of the tree. I've never done that with this particular tree. It's got a couple of unique design areas that need to be considered. It's got this big bend in the trunk here. It's straight here, it's straight here, it's straight going that way, you know, and then it's got this base as well, separate from the trunk, right? It's got this base as well that is just full of interesting things to look at with the tree. And so in looking at the tree itself, what I want to first do is establish the designated front of the tree. And so by doing this, I need to come up with a couple of different views and decide what that best view is going to be. First, I'm gonna look at the trunk itself, and I'm just gonna simply spin the tree. I'm gonna zoom the camera in, and we're gonna look solely at the trunk and what is the best view for the base. So taking a look at this trunk as I spin it, you can see, just get an idea of what we're looking at here. This is the main trunk that comes down. It's got this branch root that comes out here, and then it's almost like it's a secondary tree that's popping up. However, I'm sure that these are gonna graft together, but I like the fact that that hugs so well right there. And so let's spin it. If I can get these out of the way a little bit. I don't wanna move too much. I'll just move this up. There we go. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's prop this up. Okay, now we can see the trunk a little bit better. The view of the trunk from this angle is probably the skinniest view, right? And so number one is following the trunk line up, I've got this curve, right? And then the crest. So this curve is at a good view angle itself, right? This jets away from the viewer's eyes. This comes towards just a little bit and then it jets away. However, it being in conjunction with the skinniest view of the trunk, this is not going to be a proper view, okay? So I'm gonna spin starting this way. And this is also a skinny view I don't like, okay? So this is an option right here. We've got the main trunk line that comes down and then a divergence over here. And if I follow the root up, or the trunk up, what I can see is it's got some good play with the trunk, okay? So this is an option right here. I'll say this is option one. If I continue to spin, ooh, we can see I now have this coming out this way and this secondary branch coming down here in the background. This comes directly forward. It gives a lot of depth to the trunk itself. So maybe somewhere in here would be an option as well. So option two. And then, oh, did you see that? This is hollow right here, right in here. And so you can see all the way through. This doesn't come straight at the viewer. This is somewhat straight at the viewer, but not any more than the bottom of this. And so it gives it many layers. I'm thinking I like one of these, possibly this. Okay, so let's do this option two right here. And then this is possibly an option three right here. Man, this is actually really good. Okay, so let's look at the trunk line. Option two, zooming out, this trunk comes back, forwards, and back up. However, to the viewer's eyes, this is very, very, very straight. There's no play with this trunk line at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that even though the base looks really well in this viewpoint, combined with the trunk, this is a no-go. This is not something I want for bonsai. But I said this view right here, where I've got this directly coming at the viewer, and the side, whatever, bulge right here. What happens is this main trunk down here also starts to flare out a bit like that, right? And so this is only going to grow larger as these branches grow. This is going to develop more and become more of a big knot. And actually I can do many, many branches and get that kind of just a big gnarled piece. However, when I look at the trunk line coming up, it goes back, it jets towards the viewer at maybe a 45-degree angle, and then it goes back and up again. If I angle the pot, if I angle the tree like this, I think that's the best view of this tree. Okay, so I think that this is going to be the design concept, the front, maybe, for now. So I've got a nice wide base. I've got a lot of detail and play in here. In branch structure, things are gonna move. However, you can still see that there's a hole in the trunk here, so there's a nice bit of depth. This will continuously develop into something just amazing. The trunk line goes up to the side, jets back towards the viewer just a tiny bit. We can change the angle of the tree itself as planted, and just change the trunk line to go towards the reverse, giving the tree even more of a feeling to the viewer of being large, that the top is far away. That reduces the amount of forward movement that this trunk line has, and then it jets to the rear again here. So there's a couple of problems when I look at that is, I've got this branch that's directly coming forward. I've got this branch that starts at the very forward, it goes off to the side, however, it is developing this, I'm gonna leave that. And I've got these branches down here, which actually are really pretty. And then this branch in the direct reverse. Okay, so let's look at the branch structure of this tree. I think it's probably best if I unwire this tree right now, and we can look at the design of it. I've really been developing this tree in its branch structure's ability to stem off. It was just so straight for a while, and what I just simply concentrated on is ramification. And in doing so, I was only looking at the ramification of the tree and not at the design concept of the tree, right? How the tree flowed or anything like that. I was just getting this tree developed. Simply, just like sticking the wire on as I'm wrapping and I'm pinching the tree, I'm doing the exact same, taking this off, unwrapping a bit. When it gets too long, I'll just cut it and unwrap some more. I've got some more down here. So I actually want to talk a minute about the leaf structure of this tree. Last year, the leaves that it produced were really large. But this year already, I can see that the leaves that are coming in are nice and small, they're tiny. Even though I'm fertilizing the tree, and I haven't repotted this tree since I've had it, 3 years. So the roots are probably really nice. I haven't gone in there to see how good the webbing is. However, I'm going to assume that the webbing's really good simply because that the leaf structure that's coming in are small. So you can see here, there's a large leaf right here. There's a large leaf, but the leaves that are being made are about half that size, which is ideal. It's exactly what I want. That dynamic might change when we're done with this video because we're gonna probably remove some of these branches because of some very important design concept ideas. So now that I have the wire off of the branch structure, we can start looking at these branches. This is not the front that I said we were gonna do. We were gonna do this as the front. I had that tree almost completely backwards. When I'm looking at the flow of this tree, it's got kind of this dome piece. However, I don't have really good shelving except for this one branch. I don't have a good shelf here. I don't have a good shelf here. I have a little bit of a shelf here that needs to be wired correctly. So I think that's gonna need to be taken care of, unless I decide that I want this more like a big azalea style tree where it's just everything on the surface. However, I don't really tend to like those. I want a tree that has the triangulation. This is gonna probably have a bell curve on the top, but with very strong pads, even for the cherry tree. So when I'm looking at this tree, let's go ahead and start at the bottom. I got a good flare, right? The trunk splits off from this big mass of a trunk system, which was probably once underground. It jets to the back away from the viewer, comes back forward, goes up towards the viewer just slightly, and then it turns again at the same degree and it goes back again. And then from here to here, I have this naked trunk system. Ideally, I can get a branch here and I can get a branch here. And what that'll do is, number one, fill in this big blank spot here. However, it'll assist with the design concept because I have, if I continue going up, we need to discuss this. There's starting to be a big bulge in the trunk right here, an inverse taper. And we need to take care of this because if I allow this to continue, it's only going to get worse and worse. Exactly where this inverse taper starts is I have two simultaneous branches jetting out on both sides of this tree, which is not ideal in the bonsai world. These branches need to have a staggering effect, like here, 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 on the way down. And that helps with that flow, right? But as soon as I have this happening, a couple of things is this is naked until all of a sudden there's all these branches. And I also have this bulge that creates an inverse taper that's unsightly. So I absolutely need to remove some of these branches. So let's talk about these branches first, okay? Number one is, if I turn this tree the other way, we might be able to see it a little bit better, okay? Number one is I have a branch that now is starting in the reverse right here. It's got really good ramification in the branch structure here, okay? Really good twists in all of these. However, and this is one of the larger length branches on this tree. From this internode and this internode is nothing but very straight. In fact, this one here is straight as well. Not what I want in a bonsai. I could try and twist this. I'm thinking, even though this branch is nice and big and healthy, this is actually the branch that needs to be taken off. And so let's not make that decision right now, but let's look at this concept, okay? When I look at this other side here, I have the branch that comes out on this side, and immediately coming out of the trunk, does it bifurcate? I actually think this is just two branches that come out at the same point, okay? Not ideal. Now, I have one branch that's fairly large, that is just like this one, straight. This is getting cut off. Then I have the branch behind it, which is little, however, it's got foliage that's starting, and I can get this to bifurcate and create a nice pad. Unfortunately, this is just a big jumble of stuff right here. This gotta come off. This gotta come off right away. So let's take this off, and I'm not gonna go all the way to the collar. I want this tree to have some dieback, okay, just in case. Now we can see, wow, that changed a lot, didn't it? Now I can see this trunk line open up a lot. So let's put this back at the angle that it's going to be. And we will look, I wanna look at this from the angle of the camera. When I see this tree now, it starts to show me, need to twist it just a little bit. I think right there. I really wish I wasn't gonna take the back, this off here. And I took this off. However, we're not talking about this up here yet. I think we need to talk about further up the tree before we make a decision on keeping one of these branches. So this trunk line comes up. I hit the first set of branches right here. One of these needs to be removed. There was 3, we took one off. If I travel this up a little further, what I have is, I have a nice branch back here that is starting to create a pad. And that is set opposite to this branch, and almost exactly the same angle as this branch. And because this branch is here, I think this is the branch that has to go. Even though this is a nice branch, this is the branch that has to go. Yeah, I'm just gonna commit to this. So we're gonna take this all the way down to the collar, and you can see that the trunk over here, I may dig this back a little bit and see if I can catch something. You know, I dropped these a while back and I dented the very tip. And so sometimes it cuts a little funky. Oh yeah, that's much better. So this will heal, and it'll give me a nice little pot like this, right? Be really pretty. Let's get that front back together. Okay, yeah, that's much better. You know what? I'm gonna take this. I don't want this bulging out either. Man, that's drastic. I've got this branch in the back here. When I'm looking at this branch in the back, it does the same. It comes out, it's got this big structure here, that's okay. And it then has all of this, and I think that this is too much. So I'm gonna get rid of this, but I'm gonna keep. So basically, it's got the main branch coming out, and it should bifurcate, but instead what happened is this main branch thickness just continued on, and it's really thick. And so I've got all these other branches here that are sprouting now, and so this will become my pad of this tree. And I may keep this back one here. So following the tree up now is, we've created this huge open space back here, and I'm hoping now that the tree will create this springtime some buds down here, and will allow those to develop and grow. But when I look at the dome of this tree now, I want to see that the branch structure, the dome of this tree, is going to follow a design, but also I need to see that the branches actually get more healthy up top. So as this grows, I really have to let this branch develop thick, because right now this branch is much thicker than this one. And I'm almost thinking that I cut off this thick part and keep this side branch to it, just to simply diminish the volume of that branch. But we'll get to that. When I travel up a little bit more, not on the same level as this branch here, there is another branch before we hit the apex of the tree. And in this branch structure, I'll call it, there are 3 separate branches that are stemming off. And one is the largest, it goes up. And so since this is not a apex of the tree, I'm gonna cut that off completely. And I'm gonna have to, actually that's really well. And then this one follows that trunk line, all kind of funny. So I'm just gonna get rid of that because it's just goofy looking. Right, there you go. Man, that's a big difference. Coming up now that I see this, open area, we'll take care of it. First branch here, second branch here, third branch here. This may end up being all apex now. I think that it needs to get cleaned a little more. I've got some dead wood in here we can get rid of. This is another triple branch structure. However, I went down to 2, and that's kind of a bifurcation piece, so I'll keep that. That fell off. Oh, that's dead, that's dead. That's healthy. This tip is dead. these kind of get out and a little bit crazy. This system here is 3 again. So we'll take this one out because it's in between the two. This is a big, large object that realistically shoots to the side rather than up. I don't know if I want to call that right now. I'm having a problem with this branch because it's so thick. When I'm looking at this tree, this branch is so thick that I can still wire this back branch and create a pad. I'm gonna get rid of this. Oh man, this is a lot. Okay. Front view here, branch here. This branch is going to, I have to wire this, and then I will bring this branch over here. And then this will probably become part of the apex. However, this branch, you know what I'm gonna do with this branch? I'm gonna bring this down and over like that. I'm gonna wrap it down. And then this one is also going to come down like that. Oh yeah, look, that helped out a lot. So let's get some wire. Now that I've got all these branches, see, this is all the foliage I took off. Man, that's a lot. Still a lot of foliage down on the bottom. I want this to grow. I want this bottom to grow, to grow, to grow. So I'm actually not going to clip any of that. And I'm hoping that some of that energy can come up here and create some nice stuff up here. That tree is so much different looking. Holy cow. Move these branches off to the side that I have cut. Wire clippers, wire options. I'm gonna wire these. These are probably gonna get wired with fairly thick wire, about the size of the branch itself. This one may have to be doubled up. However, that's okay. It's quite possible I just cut this too short. Okay, so I'm gonna bend this. Let's bring it one more around. I'm gonna bend this down. And bring this branch. Oh, I'm scared to do this. Bring this branch out this way. Okay. And that's going to give me, okay, I might run a second wire on that just to help strengthen it up. And then we'll get this one wired out here too. And so I said that this one here was going to be at a good angle too. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the front. This one's gonna come more out here. This one's just simply going to come down. And then it will branch, oh my goodness. And then it will branch out. Yeah, you can see how I didn't put enough wire on there. Okay, we're gonna run a second wire through that. That's fine. I'm gonna run the same gauge. We're just gonna double up just like it was. Good. I've closed a lot of this space off by doing this. So I think that this can grow out and be a platform here, and these will grow out and be a platform down here. I'll get those wired in a little later, and then we'll get this one here. Need to be very cautious about not moving this trunk. I bent it down quite a lot. Did I get that anchor wrong just now? Let's see. No, that's okay. I don't know if I'm out of camera view. So I want this to be twisted like that. Oh, there we go. And I'll end it right there. From the front view, this needs to come out a little bit more. This will continue to grow. These will continue to grow and produce a much larger pad over here. This will create a pad here, and this little branch may create a little pad right here. So it'll be a double pad here, and then I can probably pad this out as well. Trying to get some items here. Great. I need to take care of this trunk just a little bit because it's got a funny bulge to it. I don't want to take too much off. I just want to take the collar of the old branch out. Same thing right here. Okay. In fact, I'm going to hit this apex because now that I have this open, I can see that the apex of this tree, basically this tree grew in the field. I can see it grew field and then they lobbed it and they spliced in I don't see green wood yet. They spliced in some branches. It's common, I see it often. Okay, so this is going to be my apex for sure, this one branch. These out here, I'll leave them for now. I'm not sure what I want to do with them just yet. But I need to grow this up to be apexed. These will, See now, if this is the apex, what am I doing with this big thing here, right? What do I want to do with these guys? I'm gonna leave these guys. I like the way that these are growing right now. They've been wired for a minute. I might wire these. Yeah, I'll wire this here. So I'm not gonna move the trunk itself. I just wanna wire up. No. When I'm doing these branches, I tend to lay this wire on the top. I catch myself doing it often. I need to purposefully pay attention and put this section, lay it on the bottom side of the tree to create my anchor so that it's not exposed. It's I guess it's a bad habit of mine. Okay, wrap one, bring this around to the outside collar, and that way it's a clean appearance. It's a clean look. I was wiring up the larger pine tree I have outside, and I did that. And I was like, after I noticed it, I was like, well, it's too late. I'm not going to mess with it. I'll let that tree grow, and I'll fix it later. Okay, these are going to be much better. So this will be in, we'll have this come up and then out over. And same thing with this one, come up and then we'll plateau it right there. And so the bottom of this tree will come up and meet. I'm gonna clip this off. This is no longer needed. This is too thick. Oh man, that's much better. Do I want to bring this down? Quite possibly. If I bring this down here, I would bring this one or this one, or would I bring both? That does look much better. I would clip this off and bring this down. And then if I anchor that, what am I gonna anchor it to? This guy over here? And a trunk wrap. So from the outside, what did I say, this one? I want a full trunk wrap. That means I'm gonna pinch the top. I'm also gonna knock some stuff off. There we go. And I come from the outside, so I got a good anchor. And then I'm gonna pull this nice and tight right there. Grab that outside of the collar. Can you see that? Pull it tight, come around, grab the outside of this collar, and then I'm gonna grab this branch real hard. I'm gonna pull this branch down. So this one's already starting to twist down. I have the decision on which one I need to pull. Because this one wants to go up, I'm gonna grab it. I'll finish the placement of that after I get this one here. Come around. Right on the outside of the collar on it. So these branches cross right here. So I have to take care of this. I didn't even notice these branches crossed. It's really in the way. I might cut it off. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I've got that, and now I want to bring this branch down. And right now is the time to do that. We're gonna just pinch this. And let that branch that crosses get up out of the way. There we go. What do I want to do here? I don't know what I want to do here. Might just want to leave that. There we go. That's what I want to do. Oh, I snapped something. That's okay. I've snapped so many things in this tree. Not today, but in the past. I think it just heals from it. This tree came out, and then this tree, I want to wrap this side. It's not letting me. It's all right. Okay, and then I have this branch here, which is coming up. What do I want to do with this branch? I can have it come down as well. I need to wire this down. That's a very beautiful branch. It's come up, it's all kind of gnarled. It's crazy. So once this comes back down. So I actually want to talk about that. That's a good example. I took a trip up to Osaka, and I was in one of the temple gardens up there. And I was looking at the trees while I was walking around, and what I had noticed was there was a lot of very old, and I'm talking hundreds of years old, styling designs that I was noticing. And the branches like this, or like this, would come out, and then they would jet off in this direction, and then the gardener, the monks, whomever, would bring this branch and turn it back around. And so it jetted off in this direction and then immediately turned back around into this direction. And so I'm actually going to do that with this one right here. I'm gonna bring this just like this. It's gonna do a whole U-turn right here. And this, as it grows, will become more of an angle versus the U. So, okay, we'll wire that to the side. What else needs to get wired? I've got this funny looking thing out here. This needs to be wired down to the side. So I'm gonna wire these two branches together. And I'm gonna use the same gauge wire again. So I'm gonna wire this branch and this branch. And it's gonna come down here. So first thing I'm gonna do is, I've got this wire and this wire back here that's gonna have to cross. That's just something that's gonna have to happen. So I'm gonna bring this around and I'm gonna get it locked in behind that collar, real tight right there. And then I'll bring this up. I say this one, yeah. And it needs to go onto the inside. I didn't lock that in. Hoi! There it goes. Now I locked it in. Set this branch. I don't break this one, come on. It's a little bit tight in here. All right, I need to pull it down and get it out. There we go. Let's see, which way do I want to pull this? I don't want these crossing. I'm gonna have to pull it this way. Yeah. So I have to pull this behind this one. In fact, this one may need to be moved forward a little bit. And then let's go to the outside of this branch here. Back to that because I really want to pay attention to this one here. This one is going to be, I'm going to grab this a little lower. There it is. And then I'm going to really get this to bend a lot. Just like that. Okay. This funny little branch. I like this branch. This needs to get wired up a little different. Let's go ahead and get a little wire. And we'll take care of that now. We'll have this come out this direction, like that. Okay, and then down and back up. Need to finish wrapping it. I can't get the, oh, be careful. That was pretty aggressive. It's gonna be beautiful. Okay, and then I'll just cut this here. No need for it. I'll finish this one branch here. so this branch has something funny. It's got 3 branches all in one. I just need to pick one. And because this is going towards this already, I'm gonna take that one off. Simply because it's going towards everything. And so the bifurcation will be in relationship with the other branches. Okay. These 2 branches next. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this branch. Something broke on it, maybe. Yeah, I'll take that off now. Wire these 2 into the down. This one needs a little bit of movement. It's got this straight area. It's got something dead on it too. It's got this straight area, so I need to really get that to twist and turn, and then we'll have these come down as well. The apex branches are a little bit not as robust. So let's go from the outside of this collar to the outside of this collar. It's in the way of so much. And we'll cinch it up. Okay, I'm locked in. Bring that down. And so I now have 2 branches. This one's at a pretty good angle. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna have this go this way. And then I'm gonna take this one and bring it the other direction. Like that. Yep, just like that. And the new shoots down here, I'll have just pointed straight out. What do I do? I seem to twist. There we go. Let's bring that back down. There we go. How's that look? I need to finish this, so I think I need to rewrap it out to here. So I'm gonna undo this just momentarily and then grab the correct branch. I need to wrap this branch instead. I'll get some life into it here. And no. I'm gonna wrap it a little bit loosely here. There's no need to get it too tight. There we go. Okay, good. This needs to come down a little more. And we need to grab this branch. That's my dog in the background, if you heard him snoring. This is a really delicate branch. I need to do the front for a minute. Oh, wow. This is just gonna come to the side then. Yeah, just like that. And grab the stem all the way to the tip. And just bring that down. Put a base for out sport. Boom, there we go. Okay. I need some more movement in here. There we go. So I'm left with this one piece up top. This branch needs to be further squeezed down. It doesn't have to go down all the way. This one branch is going to be my peak. And so I'm going to bring it over here. this is my front, just like this. I think this needs to come over and just be like that. I'm gonna have to make the tree branch upside down compared to what it is right now, and then I will bend it. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I wanna do. All right, let's get this anchored in. I'll anchor this in. I'll just tick it right there. I'm not gonna wire this to anything in particular. It's not a big structural piece, but I want to wire it. I can't tell. Let's get through all of these and then take a look. Right there. There we go. All right. So from the outside, and then I'm gonna grab the branch and I'm gonna bring it back towards the viewer and to the side. It'll dip down and then it will reverse its direction. This branch is really pliable. And then this branch will go up. So I think I can just finish wrapping this and then we'll move it. Okay, so down and then have this come right back up like that. There. That is the branching of the top. And I can see that this probably needs to be at a matching angle to the rest. So as I view it from the front now, I'm gonna ignore the leaves on the bottom. What I'm seeing if I follow the trunk line up is this branch is really well placed. This branch needs to grow, very, very much needs to grow. However, this branch needs to get turned out of the way along with this one. Turn this out of the way, turn this up and then down, and then bring this out, and we'll match the path of this branch here. And then I think we can probably, there we go. Okay, I'm looking at that top branch and it's kind of funky, right? Maybe something more like this. Oh man. Okay, I don't want to touch it anymore just because it's really delicate and I've moved it around quite a bit. I have one more little branch right here that is sticking up. I'm just going to place it down here. Now, is there another branch that I can wire this with? I can tell, I might cut this off. It's coming out. I'm gonna cut this branch off. This branch is doing nothing for us. Okay, there we go. I'll wire this up later. I want to allow this to just grow. I don't want to risk breaking anything. I want to get these, I can see that this attachment right here is already weak. I want to get that to be very strong. I've been considering wrapping this just to hold it tight together to make sure it grows. But I think it's time to put this outside, take a few pictures, clean up, and call it a day. That was a pretty aggressive trimming for this tree. However, this style of tree is absolutely completely different than what we just brought into the room. So we'll do some before and after comparisons and see how that goes. I wonder when I want to repot this. Not today. Thanks for watching Corey Craft. I had fun today. I've been trying to do this for quite some time. It's nice to get around to it finally. It's nice to take care of some of the trees that I have and care for, because ultimately these are my bonsai and it's up to me to actually care for them properly. And so when I have a tree like what I had when I brought in that's just funky looking, I need to examine it and figure out why is it so funky looking. And now, instead of being funky looking, it's actually got a lot of funk to it. So I really dig this funk. All right, that was Corey Craft. Thanks for watching.